Hello. It's Thursday, the 17th of April 2025. If you're watching live on YouTube, then it's just after 6 p.m. here in the UK. And if you're watching live on Rumble, then hopefully it's just after 10 p.m. here in the UK. And if you're not watching live, I don't know what time it is, but welcome to the channel, The Fifth Guardian. I'm your host, Tony Hunt, where today I'll be player of games. But it's not my story. It's not your story. Today's story is all about competing in the Audi Quattro B2 Limited Series, and this will be part one of a two-part series within Real Racing 3 Update 13.3. Vroom's White Pro says, hello, hello back, sir. Welcome along. Glad to have you with us. Right, just give me a second because I just realised I've made a little bit of a boo boo. So, one moment. To be fair, not much, just a little bit of a one. They're right. Okay, so today we're going to be racing the Audi Quattro B2 in its limited series. I'll try to get it to 60% today and then complete it to 100% tomorrow. I do already own this car. Let's go in and take a look. Let's just go. I'm hoping though, I'm hoping I get 24 hours of free servicing. Yeah, yeah, I do. Thank goodness. Right now, you'll see there the car that I have has 25 out of 28 updates. So to be fair, I reckon this will be relatively straightforward to complete. Good grief. The upgrades left are quite expensive. So I will try to put a little uh, sheet together, just going through the upgrades that are required to take this series to 100% if you don't own this car. Um, and if I don't put a sheet together, I'll just go through the top level minimum expenditure in terms of R dollars and gold. But I'll do that in tomorrow's stream. Okay, let's take a look. So we've got tier one. We'll start off with the speed snap. So after all these hypercars we've been racing, this will be a bit of a shock to the system. One moment, as I haven't got audio. There we go. Hopefully I have now. There we go. 64 miles per hour. And we're off to winning ways. Shouldn't come as a surprise, bearing in mind the number of upgrades I do have on this car. Okay, what is next on the list? Elimination. Lime Rock Park. The South Circuit, as I keep saying, I do kind of like this track. There are areas where you end up following the car in front rather than trying to overtake, but yeah, I don't mind it. It's all right. There we go. Take your time. Into second. Into first. Got to stay there. The chicaning. I did actually hit the corner there. Okay. 3 cars left in the battle. Make that 2. And I'm first by 350 yards. It looks like it will be a little bit of a slower session today, just because the car has a low PR. But that doesn't mean it won't be any less fun. But the thing about slower cars is it usually means if you do brake a bit late, there's a little bit more forgiveness in it. Vroom Right Pro says, I'm saving my $R for the Porsche 918 Spider. Concertino, is it? I'm getting it to get started. So, a general view on buying cars is if the cars cost $R or $N, I'm kind of cool on that. What I try to do is buying cars if they're costing gold. There are a few exceptions to that you will end up having to spend gold to buy the cars. But most of the cars in the game that are gold typically have had some sort of event in the past. So what I would suggest if you do come across um, car that's cost gold, don't rush into purchasing it and see if you can find out if the car initially was won with an event. And if you don't know, ask me, and I'm sure I can find out for you. All right, okay. And apparently the Spider costs 849,000 dollars, and they currently have 427,485. Well, if the video option has double $R, you'll earn 400,000 tomorrow. But even if you don't have double $R, playing enough videos, you'll still earn. Well, to be fair, I think you'll earn over 250,000, so you'll actually earn 500,000 in tomorrow's videos if they are indeed double the price, which will put you close to getting that car. In fact, it'll put you over getting that car. Pixel Hawk in the chat says, hey back, Pixel Hawk, welcome back. Thanks for watching. Thanks for saying hello in the chat. Okay, so that's elimination done. On to the cup. It's the East Circuit at Suzuka. 2 laps only. And Room White Pro says, I'm watching ads to earn more R dollars. Absolutely the way to begin with. Well, I'll tell you now, what will happen eventually is you'll have so much R dollars, um, you'll not know what to do with it. That's the problem I've found. I've got too much R dollars, and you just can't use it. But to begin with in the game, it is a bit of a struggle. You've got to persevere through those early stages. Okay, there we go. Already into first. Yeah, this car's so much more forgiving than the hypercars that I've been racing over the last few days. Let's have a look inside. Quite a basic layout inside, but you'll notice because it's an older car, you can actually see the mirrors properly. Again, that's another problem I find with the new hypercars. You just don't see the mirrors, so you can't see what's going on behind you. And that is why I prefer that view. There we go, easily in first. Tier 1 completed. Carlos Guerrero enters the chat on the YouTube side, says, hello, Tony, how are you? Hello, Carlos. I am very well, thank you very much, sir. For me, it's now a long weekend. I have Friday off and Monday off. There will be a stream tomorrow and there'll be a stream on Monday, but there won't be a stream Saturday or Sunday. There might be some videos up. I'm not sure yet. We'll see. We'll see how we get on with those. So yeah, I'm good. I'm good. I've got a long weekend ahead of me, so that'll be good. How are you? I hope you are well also. There we go. Car needs servicing. It's instant and it's free. Tier 1 completed. Into Tier 2. I forgot to sort my drinks out before starting the stream, so I might take a little break just to sort my drinks out. So I've got no water, and I've got no coffee. Well, that should be sorted pretty quickly. Oh. So I'll probably I'll do another couple of tiers and then I'll take a 2-minute break to sort my drinks out. The one thing I will say about some of the lower PR cars, they're so much more easier to control. Basically because they're slower. There we go. First. Pixel Hawk says, I think I might have missed it. Were you able to complete the Pinnanin Farina event? Yes, that was yesterday's stream. So obviously hang around this evening, hopefully. But if you want to watch it, it'll be in the playlist on live or the playlists in terms of the videos for Real Racing 3 Update 13.3. But it was yesterday's stream, and I did all right with it. I did spend a little bit of money, but I did get it, and I completed the event in under 2 hours. So if you get a moment, take a look at that. It was fun. The car wasn't as bad as I thought it would be. I would suggest the only big problem with the car is the brakes are rubbish. Its grip and its acceleration and its speed are generally speaking pretty good. The acceleration's amazing, actually, to be fair. So I'm happy to have that car in my garage, and it's a better car than the McLaren Speedtail. Aaron C. John says, hello, how are you, Tony? Hello back, Aaron. Welcome along. Thanks for watching. Thanks for putting a hello in the chats. I am good. I hope you are too. Carlos says, I'm good, thanks. Excellent. There we go. Aaron C. John preempted what I just said. He said, "What are your opinions on the Pininfarina? Do you like it better than the Rimac?" So, no, I don't like it better than the Rimac. Absolutely not. The Rimac Nevera is the best car in this game, and it's most definitely the best electric car in this game. Um, but I will say the Pinin Farina is better than the McLaren Speedtail. So hopefully that clears that up. So I'm happy to have it in my garage, and I would happily take it out the garage. But I just want, it's like I feel shame owning the Speedtail. Do you know what I mean? Shame. Okay, so next on the list, speed record around the dynamic circuit at the Porsche test track. Although the fastest part of the track is after the end of the finish line, I think we're going to be okay. I think I'll get first without having to start way back from the start line. Let's see if we can get it. There we go. That was easy. Another thing I'm really hoping for with this particular limited series is that the cups are not too long. A couple of the limited series in the last release, some of the cups went on forever. So it did actually mean some of the challenges were over 4 hours long. Now this could be 4 hours long, but not because of the length of the cups, at least I hope so, but just because the car's a lot slower. So each challenge takes a little bit longer to complete. Carlos Guerres asked, have you ever watched Supernatural? I'm aware of it, but I'm going to say no, I don't think I have. I'll be perfectly honest, it's very rare I watch, because it's a TV series, isn't it? It's very rare I watch TV series, especially nowadays. There are one or two that I do watch, but it is rare. Um, so no, is that your recommendation, Carlos? Supernatural? Would you recommend it to others to watch? Okay, so all that's left in tier two with a minimum PR of 5.1 is the Cup of Club Circuit at the Circuit of Americas. It's 3 laps, but it is a short track, so that's not too bad. But with it being 3 laps, it does mean it should be easier to get first. But it looks like I'm only racing against another 15 opponents. So I reckon I could get this in 1 lap, get to first. But there we go, we're in third already. we go. This is the shortest track as well at Circuit of Americas. 1 lap done in just under a minute. 2 more minutes to go then, and this race will be over. Hopefully with me in first. There we go, nice and straightforward. Almost caught the back markers. So in regards to Supernatural, Carlos has put, it's a horror and comedy series. There are 2 brothers hunting demons, vampires and werewolves. Their car is awesome. It's a 67 Impala. Okie dokie. And he's put, I totally recommend it. I love this series. It has 15 seasons, blimey, and I've seen it about 20 times. Okay, I'll make a note of it, and yeah, might see if I can check it out. If I was to list my 3 favorite TV series, none of them are particularly new, but it would be Band of Brothers, which is obviously I think it's only got 10 episodes. But it was produced by Steven Spielberg after he'd directed Saving Private Ryan, and it's just amazing from start to finish. The second TV show I would recommend, which only had 1 series, was called Firefly, and they did eventually make it that I think it was supposed to have multiple series, but they only ended up doing 1. So they made a movie out of it called Serenity, and I warmly recommend both the TV series and the film. Both are absolutely amazing. And then the final TV series, which I think I only saw a couple of years back, although it's a little bit older than that, is I've forgotten it now. Let me come back to you on that one. What was it called? Oh, yeah, that's it. Chernobyl, which I believe was a 6-part miniseries. And again, absolutely amazing. They would be my top 3 TV series, specifically dramas that I've watched and that I would recommend. But I take on board your recommendation for Supernatural. Might give that a look up. Thank you very much for that. As I said, I have heard of it, but I've never got round to watching it. Right, okay, so we're at 13%. And we're on tier 3. So, first up, Speed Snap. So this is the second Speed Snap already of this particular limited series. There we go. Still relatively straightforward to complete. Right, next, Hunter. Around the national circuit at Hockenheimring. So Doris put there is a Max app that used to be HBO Max, so I'm assuming it's on that. Um, I'm a bit weird when it comes to streaming because I actually don't like watching stuff on any streaming service because I just think the quality of video and the quality of audio isn't as good as what you can get on either Blu-ray or 4K Blu-ray. That's my preferred method of watching both TV series and movies. In fact, I don't know. Let's have a look if we can see them because I have got. You probably can't see it. Let's have a look. There's the Band of Brothers series. It's on. I've got it on Blu-ray. Brilliant, absolutely brilliant. I've got the others somewhere, but they might be tucked away in one of my boxes over there. Same with both Serenity and Firefly somewhere. Sounds like the sort of thing my brother would watch, so I might ask him if he's already got a copy of it and borrow his. He'll leave out of it on DVD or Blu-ray, I'm sure. There we go. That's a relatively straightforward victory there. No surprise that the early tiers are proving very easy to do simply because I've got the car fully upgraded. So Carlos has said, I wanted to see your time with the Bugatti and it's not there anymore. Did you see that? Yeah, so what's happened is I wanted to check out the cost of upgrading the Bugatti and the cost of upgrading the Porsche. So on my other device, I went through and just see how much it was costing. So I made a few notes and obviously then the rewards back. So I can determine if I do that before Tuesday. And then basically from this device, I did a save of my data and then overwritten um, um, my save on this device to the other device, and it said there was a data mismatch, so it deleted both all my times. Which, bear in mind, I didn't even do any racing at all with either of those cars once I'd fully upgraded them. It was just to check. And it deleted both my weekly time trial values and also all the points I'd earned for the online multiplayer tournament. Yeah, so that's a bit rubbish, really, isn't it? Because I didn't on my other device do anything, and I over, uh, you know, saved over the top of it, so they went back to not having any upgrades applied to it, and it said there was a data mismatch, but I hadn't done any racing with the cars being fully upgraded, so thought that was rubbish. So I've got to redo all of that again, unfortunately, which I will do, but I'll probably do that offline. And then on Monday, we'll take a look as to whether I'll upgrade both of those cars. If I do upgrade both of those cars, they will have already been done on Monday, and then I'll focus on doing the time trial and the online tournament as well. But yeah, so Real Racing 3, I think, have messed that up because I wasn't in any way, shape, or form cheating. I was taking a look on another device to see how much it would cost. Didn't race those cars at all, and it said there was a data mismatch. And that was when I was resetting the other device back to what this one was set up to, which is my main device. Yeah, so I won't be doing that again in a hurry. Oh, good question. So, Pixel Hawk has asked, have you ever been to any of the tracks in real life? So I've been to Silverstone. I have seen two Grand Prix races at Silverstone, different years, when Hamilton was at his best. So the first year I saw was I only went for race day on the Sunday, and it was when Bottas was at Williams. And in that particular race, both Williams got ahead of the Mercedes, but then Hamilton came back to win. And then the year later, I did a full 3 days, in fact, technically 4 days at Silverstone. So on the Thursday, you can go in the evening, and there's not a great deal going on, but obviously they do have Sky Sports down there doing some entertainment, and you can walk through the pit lane, and I got to do that. And then obviously on Thursday did all the experience with the two practices, as well as I think there was Porsche racing, I think there was Formula 2 and Formula 3 as well. And then on the Saturday, practice 3, qualifying, and some additional racing as well. F2, I think it was, and I think there was another Porsche race as well, and then obviously the main event again on the Sunday. But that is the only track I've been to. I did always fancy the idea of going to the Canadian Grand Prix, just because of where it is. It's near a theme park, and obviously it's quite easy then to jump down to the US. But I've never been up to this point, but definitely would like to. Hopefully that answers your question. So the interesting thing about Silverstone is it's a great track, but it's so in the wrong place, because Northampton's not the best place. It's just there's not a lot there. And indeed, I stayed in a hotel that was outside of Northampton, but was near the park and ride stuff to get you to the Silverstone. It wasn't cheap. The hotel was expensive because everybody wanted to book it, and obviously the tickets weren't particularly cheap. The second time I went, so the first time I went, um, I wasn't in the grandstand. I can't remember where I was, to be fair. It might have been near Cops. But the second year that I went, we did get grandstand tickets. Yeah, it was awesome. Very exciting. I can recommend it if you've never done a Grand Prix experience, no matter what country you're in. I can definitely recommend it. But it's not cheap. But you will enjoy it. It is a bit of a weird watch though, because all you do is you see him go through, like the second year we were watching from the grandstand. You see him go through the start-finish section, and then you're watching the screens for the rest of the lap. It's a bit weird. It's a bit of a weird watch. It's not like if you go to a stadium and you see the whole match, like football or rugby. It's a very different spectator experience. In fact, you know what? I think the best day that we had was the Friday, because on the Friday you can sit anywhere. So we literally walked around the outside of the track and then obviously went to all the different places you could sit. So we got to watch, you know, free practice 1, free practice 2, and as I said, there was Porsche racing, F2 and F3 racing from memory. We got to watch all of those at different parts of the track, and that was fantastic. Yeah, there we go. Oh dear, I forgot to brake. But you see what I mean? Look, I did brake very late there, but the car is quite forgiving. So I only just went off track. Another first. So Carlos Guerra says before buying the ticket, it is important to know where there are more overtakings and book your ticket there. That's a good call. Sometimes that's a little bit harder to do, but yeah, yeah. Uh, it's interesting though, because where we were the second year, it was um, it was right at the beginning of the straight of the start finish. So obviously we could see all of that, but we could actually look down and see the cars coming through the final set of turns. And as you know, at Silverstone, the final set of turns into the start finish section, there's quite a few overtaking opportunities. So we did see some of that. Um, so where we were, could literally look all the way down as the cars came up, and then look all the way along as they went down the straight. So we did have a quite a good um, seat in terms of seeing lots of racing, but I do think the best experience was literally walking around the track and going on each of the stadium areas to sit down and watch, a few laps. And it wasn't always Formula One because obviously it takes a long time to walk around the whole track. But I'd say that was really enjoyable. I would almost suggest, and obviously going on a Friday is a lot cheaper than going on Saturday or Sunday, but you do get more out of it because you can just walk around. And most people don't sit on a Friday. Most people don't sit in the uh, the main grandstand. So yeah, there we go. So Fates asks, first off, welcome to the stream. Thank you for watching, and thank you for putting a comment in the chat. It says you use low brake assistance or nothing. So I'll show you in a second what I use. Let me just go on to the next race and I'll pause it. So you know that I'm not um, lying to you. Not that I would, of course. So if we go to autocross, I'll just pause it. I mean, you should be able to see it. It might not see. You can see it there on this on the right hand side. But if I pause it and then just go into there, you can see there. I've got traction control off, brake assist off, but steering assist on low. I did at the beginning of this update put steering assist on off, and I just thought, no, I don't like it. I will attempt to do it again at some point in the future, but that's what I've got. So traction control off, brake assist off, steering assist on low. And obviously, just to follow that up as well, my driving control selected is tilt B. So manual brake, manual acceleration, and obviously tilt the device to turn left or right. And I guess just to balance out the steering as well, you can see there I've got my steering sensitivity quite high. So it's set to 2. Um, and that seems to work. So I'm told a lot of the guys that are really good at the game, some of them don't put steering assist on 0. They actually do it on low. Right, there we go. Let's carry on racing. Now, a lock goose is in the chat. A lot welcome along. Sorry I've been doing the streams later. Apologies for that. Obviously, work commitment stops me from doing them in the day at this moment in time. But thank you very much, good sir, for joining and saying after years in the chat. Much appreciated to have you back. Carlos Guerrero says, Tony, I think you are now able to put everything off. I did do that with the steering. I didn't like it, so I put it back to low. But you are correct. I do need to get that back off. But as I said, I have heard quite a few of the um, Group A players actually leave steering on low. So I'm not going to rush there, but I will. I'm sure I'll have a look at it at some point in the future. Pixel Hawk says, "Do you still follow F1? If so, who's your favorite driver team?" I don't actually have a favourite. I do enjoy seeing what's happening in F1. I do think this year specifically is a very interesting year because there isn't an obvious favourite. So yes, you could argue McLaren has the best car, but they've probably got, in terms of the other drivers, two inexperienced drivers from the point of view neither have been world champion before. And they're going up against Max Verstappen, who, yes, does have a car that's not as good as McLaren, but his racecraft is second to none. So straight away, you've got three people in the fight for the championship. If Ferrari get their game together, I see Hamilton, obviously, his racecraft is absolutely incredible, and Leclerc in the mix as well. And again, Mercedes. Um, both of those drivers are looking good. Who I'm quite impressed with is it Antonio? I can't remember his surname. The rookie. He does seem to be the best rookie for this year. So if he can get it together, you've got the potential of at the very least six contenders for championship this year. And I always do find it interesting if it's not just a case of you get a different winner every time from one team, but you've got multiple teams in the mix as well. So you've definitely got that this year. But do I have a favourite? I don't really. I don't. Yeah, I kind. I wouldn't be bothered. I wouldn't be bothered who won it. To be fair, just so long as the driving's good. Um, a lot Goose says, did you get the Pininfarina already? I did, and that was done in yesterday's stream. So have a look at my live section, and you should see that. Carlos puts Norris will win the Drivers' Championship this year. Write what I'm saying. Okay. I wouldn't complain if Norris wins it. He seems to be a decent human being, but he's got a little bit of grit about him. I think what highlighted, unfortunately, on Sunday is he's definitely lacking that racecraft. And I'm an expert on people not having racecraft, so I think my opinion obviously matters on such a subject. Alok Goose says, as long as Norris doesn't win, the season looks good. Okay. Why don't you like Norris? He's all right. He's a good lad. There you go. Pixel says Antonelli. Yes, I do think he will win Best Rookie of the Year without a shadow of a doubt. And Fayette says, as a Brazilian, I feel sorry for Bortoleto. Bad luck. Yeah, well, yeah, that's fair enough. Like, maybe I should do a bit of racing. I can't even remember what event this is now. I think is it autocross? It must be autocross. There we go. Yeah, I mean, obviously there's another Grand Prix this weekend, so that might be. I might go to the pub to watch that one because I don't watch TV anymore, so I don't watch any live sports. But I might go to the pub to watch that one. Seems like it's on a Sunday. Um, a look Goose says I really liked um Norris before 2024, before China 2024. Really, okay. I can't remember what happened. Um, I think he's all right. He's a good lad. Oh, was China when he wouldn't give the place back? Because if so, I absolutely agree with him. It's the races. I don't like it. The fundamental thing that I don't like are team orders. Fundamentally, don't like them. um, and ultimately did give the place back. Ha! Yeah, very funny. Haha. So somebody called Max Verstappen is in the chat. Very good. He says, welcome along, Max. Good to have you with us. He says, how are you, sir? Well, I'm honoured to have you in the chat and to be watching me driving. I'll be honest, though, I'm a little bit nervous now because I'm obviously not as good as you. But thank you very much for watching and thank you very much for putting a comment in the chat. I think we're having a bit of fun this evening. It's a little bit of a nice, calm, relaxing session. Quite a few discussions and relaxed racing because it's just a low-spec car that I've already won. So there's not a great deal at stake other than the possibility of obviously earning some gold. So Max Verstappen says, I'm Kazu, by the way. What? You mean you're not the real Max Verstappen? No. Well, I'm no longer nervous driving anymore then. But yeah, thank you. Welcome along anyway. Good to see you again. Bless you. I think I might have just braked a little bit late. I'm going to go round. There we are. The barrier. I'll just have to pay attention to my racing because every time I'm paying attention to the chat, I'm not driving properly. Well, in relation to what I can do, rather than in relation to what I should be doing. Okay, so we're in first on the second lap. I haven't really been talking through the races I've been doing. We've just been doing just having a good chinwag. I am 400 yards ahead, so we should be all right. So a lot Goo says, in terms of the incident where Lando wouldn't give the place back, he says, no, that was Hungary. Oh, right. Let me just finish this and I'll read the rest of the chat. It's almost disappearing off screen. That was Hungary. I think you are talking about Hungary. Okay, my mistake. Was happy for his Miami win though. Slow car, cruise mode, relaxation. Indeed, indeed. Like in the chat. Like in the chat. Plenty of banter. That's what I like to see. Right. Okay. Where are we now? What are we doing? I think that is tier 4 completed. Have I not earned 25% yet? Oh, there we go. Perfect. 25%, a whopping 2 gold earned. My worries of not having enough gold are over. Right, okay, so what I'm going to do now because I need to get some drink, is I'm going to do a little break and then I'll be back in 2 minutes. Hey, I'm back. Right. So Pixel Hawk has put, I think skill-wise, Max is pretty much the best on the grid right now. I agree with you, but I don't see him challenging for wins as much if the pace stays similar to how it was in Bahrain. Well, I do think it's going to change per track, and that does mean different drivers winning, different cars being at the front, and a lot goes 2 gold. Yep, 2 gold up to this point. You could get 2 bags of rice for that. Max Verstappen says Max is the best. Modest is Max Verstappen, but his car can't keep up with him. Indeed, that is the case. A lot Goose says Red Bull needs some Red Bull. Yes, Red Bull needs some wings. Very good. I like it. A lot Goose say they took Walter White's advice too seriously. Okay. Carlos Guerrero said they need some V12 engines. And Max Verstappen, who obviously must know something, being, an F1 driver and therefore on the inside, says V10 might be returning though. But a lock says V10s are outdated and annoying. V6 are the way to go. Carlos was getting excited. He was hoping the V10s would return. Yeah, me too. And Regera Man 1 returns to the chat. Well done. Welcome back, sir. Good to have you along. Says, hi, guys. How are you doing today? I think we're all doing very well. We're having some right good conversations in the chat. But maybe I do need to get back to racing. So let's get on. So tier 5, speed snap. Another speed snap. The speed snaps are popular in this limited series. This is the 3rd one already. Just about enough. Managed to get first there. So Max Verstappen says, very active chat these days. I like it. Well, Max, it's because you're here, so everybody's showing off. A lot Goose says, did you get the Walter White reference with regards to Red Bull? No, I did not, which is why I looked blankly into the camera. But I'll look it up afterwards. So a lot Goose says it's probably because it's close to the weekend, hence a lot of people. Yeah, I would imagine. I would imagine, although it's a Thursday, um, it will probably feel like a lot of people's weekend because I would imagine in a number of countries they will have tomorrow off, being Good Friday in Christian countries. So Max Verstappen says, "You do remember me, right?" I said, "Well, I remember somebody called Kazoo, that's for sure, but I don't remember Max Verstappen. No." Carlos Gross, give the thumbs up, guys. Oh, that's very kind of you, Carlos. Thanks very much. Mm. We're still growing as a channel, We're getting there slowly. We're now over 300. I don't think it's too bad. We're doing okay. Growing slowly but surely is how I look at it. Best not to peak too early, I say. Right. So that's the speed snap done. And again, Hunter is quite popular in this limited series. That's another Hunter. So again, it's around the Lime Rock Park. As I say, keep saying, I do kind of like this track. Let's see how we get on. I'm just reading the chat. It's good to see. Okay, into four. I think we're going to do this relatively straightforward. Into third, into second, and there we go. Plenty of time left as well. So yeah, I think that's quite an easy win. Quite an easy win there. There we go. That's the Hunter done. Where are we? So real Swart Storm says, "Good night, sir." And a lot Goose says, "Good night indeed." Bye, Tony. Well, a lot. Thank you for joining. Much appreciated. Always good to see you. Get a good night's sleep. And Carlos puts, "I hope you can sleep now." Regera Man One says, "I thought you said you were going to wait for these events until later in the round." You are indeed correct. So the reason why I do this all the time, I think I'm going to do one thing and then I change it around. So yeah, I probably will hold off for a bit before I do any of the expensive events, but and it is a big but. What I may do is if the events, what I find is if the events have a minimum PR, I can normally achieve the events with a minimum PR. So it gives me an idea of what the cost of gold will be. The other thing that was going through my mind, and I don't think it's going to play out, is I did think there might be a flash sale this weekend. With it being Easter, I really did think there'd be a flash sale and there'd be lots of cars available with big discounts. It doesn't look like that will be the case. Um, but I guess we'll find out tomorrow. But normally you get there's a little sort of like rumors on on the websites that talk about Real Racing 3. There doesn't seem to be any of that. So I thought, well, what I'll do is I'll move the event for the Electric Dream event. I'll move that forward because it opens up a discount on the sister car, and obviously the sister car is in both the limited series, and again because it's a new car, there's a real possibility that limited series is going to be um, um, will only have 3 hours worth of free servicing, but the car will have potentially a 40% discount. But it's also in an exclusive series. So I'm sort of hoping just by opening up that opportunity, I'll get not only the opportunity to win the car with a 40% discount on the upgrades, but I'll get the opportunity to fully upgrade the car to 100% and open up the exclusive series it's in. That's the plan. Now, that obviously changed a couple of days after the new release came down because it was only then that people were saying, oh, there's a 40% discount on the sister car once you've completed the Electric Dream event. But you can't unlock it. And I don't know how they know it's 40% because if I just come out here, you can see there upgrade sales for the car with the longest name in this game. But if I click on it, how do people know it's 40%? There's no indication what the percentage is. So, oh look, I've got a free gold there. Let's collect that. Boom. Yeah. So I don't know. I don't know. Well, that's why I've messed it around a bit, doing some of these events because my suspicion is I won't have the opportunity to spend the gold on upgrading cards over the Easter weekend that have got 50% discount. It does look like that won't happen, which is a bit of a shame. But there we go. I know that was a bit of a long explanation, but hopefully that explains why I've changed my mind. And I do have a habit of changing my mind. You will get used to it, I'm sure. Bombardino Crocodilo, excellent name by the way. Says hello. Well, hello, sir. Welcome along. Going forward, I might just call you BC. Is that okay, or do I have to read out your full name? It is a great name, Bombardino Crocodilo. That's a great name. I like it. Um, Rigero Man says, "Oh, that makes sense. I personally just do the events as fast as they are unlocked." I get that. I do get that. The reason why I did it last month specifically, where I left them all to the end, is I turned off brakes, and I knew that would be a hard thing to master. So I thought by leaving the events all the way to the end, it gave me more time to get round to mastering brakes being set to 0. I feel relatively comfortable doing this now, so I'm not overly worried about. I'm not overly worried as he wipes his nose off screen. About doing an event as and when. So yeah, so maybe I won't leave them all to the end, but I would have done if there wasn't that offer on the second pinning in Farini car or Farina car, and definitely would have done if there were some flash sales over Easter, which, as I said, it sounds like there won't be. Right, next on the list, Cup. One lap special around Circuit de Spa-Francorchamps. Now, the one thing that I will say that I'm liking in this limited series is the cups are short, which I'm quite happy about because it did get a bit boring on some of the limited series in the last release. The cups were just too long. Now, under normal circumstances, you would say one lap isn't enough to get first, but this is one of the longest laps in this game. And as you can see there, I'm already up to fourth. So I don't think it's going to be too much of a problem getting to first by the end of this lap. In fact, hopefully I can get to first by the end of this straight. There we go. It looks like everyone's having a bit of fun tonight. I'm glad to hear that, see that in the chat. Well, we are clearly in the lead. We're almost 200 yards ahead of second. So we're coming up to, well, I say coming up to, we've gone over the hour mark, and, you know, in fairness, I think we're on target for getting to 60% round about 2 hours in. There we go. So Max Verstappen has put, "I'll sleep, good night, happy streaming, thank you very much, Kazoo, see you hopefully in another stream. Will you be another F1 superstar driver, or will you stick with Max or go back to your original name?" I think you should enter the stream going forward as a different driver in every stream. How does that sound? Cool. Carlos Guerrero says the game could let us freely choose which track we want to play with, any car, right? If only. Waiting for the Avija X. Hopefully it's a rocket ship and fun to drive. That's from Pixel Hawk. So I think it will be pretty good because the Avija is pretty good. I just think it's the Avija X will be quicker, and I'm expecting it to be grippier. So that's what I'm hoping for. Whether we get that is a whole different kettle of fish. Well, that series comes out tomorrow, but I won't be doing that until week after next. That's the current plan, but we'll see. Right, so there we go. So that's tier 5 completed, 33% completed. Next up on the list, tier 6, and the first time that we've got a drag race. Now this will be interesting because you know my thoughts on drag races. Some of these cars literally only change one gear, and I wonder why we even have drag races for those cars. So let's have a look and see how many times we get to change the car's gear before we cross the finish line. Fortunately, it is more than once. I believe that was like 3 gear changes. I don't think there's a real amount of skill in drag race when you don't have a great deal of gear changes. Nevertheless, if you've got to do it to get to series completion, then you've got to do it. As I said, I always prefer doing the first to second gear change a little bit earlier. There we go. That's the drag race completed. Feats asks, you like to race in online mode? If you mean, do I like doing the multiplayer online tournament, then I do it. Um, I'm not a big fan of it, but I do it, and I don't mind how it's done at the moment, which is the other opponents disappear out your way. I do think, in terms of seeing previous iterations of the online racing, that's definitely the best version we've seen on Real Racing 3. But the main reason why you do it is because you can win gold. Now, even though you don't win a great deal of gold, gold is gold. So any opportunity to earn gold, I definitely do it. So typically what you'll find is in the compete in multiple series streams that I do, typically I'll race the car in both the car that is in both the weekly time trial and also the online tournament. So if you're looking for some of that multiplayer racing, that'll be in the streams that are called competing in multiple series as I go off track. Hopefully I've not messed that up. I think I did that pretty close. That was close. Okay, so I'm only in 5th, but that was all my fault as I went off track. Okay, so we're in 4th. I reckon I can still win this. We're in 3rd. We've got 2nd. There we go. So we've got plenty of time to try and get 1st. There we go. Final 2 left in the match, and 200 yards ahead of 2nd as well, so this should be another win. And there we go. Okay. Well, I don't know what's happened there, but I've just done a refresh, and it looks like I've gained an additional 6 subscribers on the YouTube side. So thank you very much if you've recently subscribed. Very much appreciated. Okay, so next on the list is the cup. Now, just before I start that, Pixel Hawk says, "Gotta go. See you next time, Tony." Indeed, you will. Thank you very much for watching. And obviously, thank you for saying hello in the chat and having a good old chinwag. Very much appreciated. See you soon. Enjoy the rest of your day or evening or night or morning, I guess. Okay, so it's 3 laps around Silverstone. It is only the national circuit. Now, this one I see as being difficult. If it's 22, it is. Okay, so this is potentially the banana skin. This is definitely one of the tracks that I don't like. And when there's only 3 laps or less, it's quite difficult to get first normally. But let's see, let's give it a go, see what happens. I think the problem is, you get to here and you're overtaking, but when you come round the corner here, everyone pretty much stays in the position. So all this straight, normally, you're not doing any overtaking. Unfortunately, I think because my car has so many upgrades, I am at least catching the cars in front. But look at this. They're all over the place, and I'm only in 5th place at the end of lap 1. So it's a bit of an ask, I reckon. I've got 4 cars to overtake and only 2 laps to do it in. So realistically, I think I've got to do all 3 cars on this lap and then have just the 1 car on the final lap to stand any opportunity of getting first. Well, I've achieved the first bit. So I think for the rest of this lap, I'm just going to get on the tail of first place. I think that's all I can do. Fortunately, it does feel as if my car is a lot faster. Oh yeah, I'm going to do it easily. What am I worried about? There we go, first place before the end of lap 2. Oh. Almost hit the barrier there. Managed to stay out of the wall though. Final bit of the final lap. Three. There we go. That's a victory. Martin Torales says, good. Welcome along. Thanks for watching. Thanks for commenting in the chat. I'm not sure what your good is related to. Maybe it's what I was saying before. But yep, thank you for watching. And yeah, thank you for commenting in the chat. Very much appreciated. That's another first. That's tier 6 completed. As I said, I'm going to try and get this up to 60% today, and we're already at 40% after 1 hour, 20 minutes. So we're not too far away from being on target, I think. So tier 7, I'll do the head-to-head first, and then I think I'll do the cup and do the endurance last. So Fert says you drive so clean. Well, to be fair, it's a lot easier when the car has a lower PR. So to some degree, it does cover up some of your mistakes. So if you do brake a little bit later than what you would do normally, cars that are a little bit slower, a little bit more forgiving, lower PR cars, normally hide your mistakes. So to be fair, I think that's what's happening here. I'm not saying I'm not a bad driver nowadays, but I'm not the best. I'm not the best. But thank you very much for your nice comments. Much appreciated. Now this corner I don't like. That's a hard corner. There we go. That is a victory. I do like my head-to-heads. I do tend to win the head-to-heads. It's very rare I don't. And that's another one added to the victory list. Okay. What have we got next? I believe it's the Cup next. Okay, so the Grand Prix circuit at Hockenheimring, minimum PR of 8.1. 2 laps. I am liking this limited series. I prefer limited series where the Cups don't have a silly amount of laps. Oops. Right, there we go. Up into 7. Now I have only got another lap after this, so probably do need to get passing at least a few more cars. There we go. Oh, almost up into 3rd there. Didn't quite work. Whoops. There we go. So, a few questions coming through. Let's have a look. We've got Eloise. Welcome along. Thank you very much for watching. Thank you for your comment. They ask, do you not use helmet cam? No. So the reason why, I'll just overtake this car and then I'll go through why. Now I have noticed on some other games where people have got like professional racing car setups, they sort of use that view, and to be fair, that view's not too bad, but I find it's nothing close to real life in terms of your peripheral view, and obviously having the mirrors that you can look at, which you might say, well, why don't you use this? But the problem I find with this is it just feels enclosed. It doesn't feel like being in a normal car, and I can't see what's going on around me, which is what would normally happen if you were driving a car. So that's why I prefer that view. It's mainly just to do with the peripheral vision, but you can still see what's going on behind you. You know, in terms of a car being right behind you. So it's why I just prefer that view. Um, but I do understand why some people would use that view. I kind of get that. So this view to some degree feels quite claustrophobic, even though it's supposed to represent how you feel driving a car. You don't drive a car like that. You're looking all around, and quite often with the supercars as well, the mirrors you can see on screen there, you just can't see them. So that's why I prefer that view. So hopefully that answers your question. Yeah. What we got next? Carlos. Tony, do you have the achievement of 50 consecutive victories? That's a very good question. The answer is yes, and I'll show you that in a minute. In fact, the only thing I don't have is drives like Aussie Bob, and the reason why I don't have that one is apparently Aussie Bob has a fame score of 1000. So yeah, let's just take a break then, and let's have a look at the medals, because as I said, I've got all of them apart from the Aussie Bob one. You know what you're thinking, Tony? You've won 50. You've had 50 consecutive wins. Yeah. To be fair, I think I just did the same race 50 times, and it would have been a speed snap or a autocross, I would imagine. Let's have a look. It's there, isn't it? Yeah, you see, there you go. So straight off, you can see there, just like Aussie Bob, reach level 1000. I obviously haven't done that just yet, but I would get 100 gold. I could have sworn that was previously 50 gold, but I might be wrong. So you'll look, what was it again? 50 consecutive victories. Where's that one then? Let's have a look. There we go. No, no, that's the purchasing. Where is it? 50 consecutive victories. Oh, there we go. Win 50 races in a row. Golden trophy. There we go. So you see there, I've got all the achievements. Um, Actually, that does raise a good point to just bear me 1 second. To Vroom's White Pro. So Vroom's White Pro is relatively new to the game. So if he's still around, that's something else that can earn you, well, maybe not our dollars, but can earn you gold. Look at the achievements and look at what you can do. I think, to be fair, I cover that off in my video to do with gold harvesting. So again, if you want to know how to get more gold, I cover things like this in that video. Regera Man 1 says, I didn't like doing the Porsche Taycan Turbo GT series because there was so much laps. There was indeed. That one was horrible. There was another one as well that was really long, which I can't remember now. Let me have a look. Let me see if I can find it. So you are correct. The GT Turbo one was just absolutely terrible. But there was another one. I think it was, I might be wrong, but I think it was the Strassen version Duo as well. That was a long one. I'm just looking at it now, and across the two streams, it was over 4.5 hours long. So, yep, absolutely agree with you there, Regera Man One. And Ayaka Yokotel enters the chat, says, Hi, Mr. Tony, how are you? I am very well, thank you very much. Good to see you again. Thank you very much for watching and obviously commenting in the chat. Very much appreciated. Alawi says, "What's your approach when taking a corner in general?" I suppose it depends on the corner, and it unfortunately does depend on the car. If it's a corner that does need you to brake, then I guess the best option is always to try and brake early so you can accelerate out early and try to hit the apex. But obviously, I'm talking theory there, and you'll see in practice quite often I don't do that. But that would be my approach in general. Now, one of the best bits about this game, and actually therefore one of the most frustrating bits about this game, is all the cars drive differently. So how it captures how all the cars drive differently in terms of braking, gripping, acceleration, and speed. I think that's really good in the game, but it does mean you can't just have one visual point on a corner and then always use that. You've got to almost like relearn each car in terms of how good or how bad they are in terms of braking and gripping. But that would be what I would do in general. Try to brake early into the corner so you can accelerate early out of the corner. But then you have to adjust it depending on the car that you're using. And you'll see me quite often when I pick up a car, um, it takes me a bit of time to get into the groove with that car. Uh, like for example, if you watch me doing the weekly time trial, the first time I'll do a weekly time trial on the car, quite often I'm going off the track and it takes me a couple of laps before I hone in on, what the peculiarities of that car are in terms of grip and braking, because as I said, they're all different. It does make the game enjoyable, but it does mean you can't be immediately out the box. Ayaka Yokota says, I just say hi, I have an appointment. Okay, no problem. Thank you very much for just saying hi. Always appreciated. It's always good to see you. Enjoy the rest of your day. I hope it all goes okay. Right, let's get back to the racing. So currently at 44% now. Probably just need to have a little drink. I'm feeling a bit dry. Okay, so now on to the endurance. It's around the on-road circuit at the Porsche test track. Coming up to just over an hour and a half of driving. So I do think we're about on target for another half hour and we'll have hit 60%, give or take 10 minutes. Oh, okay, there we go. So 1 mile on the scoreboard, and I am now at least in 7th place. Okay, so coming up to 3 miles. Ah, so Freets has said, after this class, I hope to leave here as a better pilot. Okay. I'll tell you what makes a difference. Just practice. If you want my honest advice on that, I think that goes to most things in life. The more you practice it, the better you get at it. So long as you're guided in terms of maybe where you're doing things wrong, and I include myself in that, then practice is the way that you improve. In fact, I believe I put that at the end of all my streams to do with racing. It's a daily activity. And in fairness, it's not just applicable to this game, it's all sorts, anything in life. Eloise, sorry, puts, what do you think the best way to spend dollars for a beginner? Okay. Well, obviously, I've seen Regera Man one's response. I would probably approach the answer from slightly differently, and I think your focus in terms of end dollars should be trying to earn the cap on a daily basis. So on a daily basis, you can earn 250,000 dollars a day. So in terms of motorsports, that's quite critical. So if you've not got the maximum cap that you can have, which is like 5 million, and if you've not seen, I've got about 4 million at the moment, then each day, hello, here we go, I'm not going to do get first. This is what happens when I yap too much. I think I will get first. There you go. Then each day attempt to earn that 250,000 dollars. In terms of where to spend those dollars, so there are a number of cars that cost only dollars. So, for example, the Formula One first season, the cars in that, I think it's 2019, don't quote me on that, all the cars in that series cost dollars only. Now, in addition, on that series, there was an opportunity to do a number of events, so you could actually win those cars. Um, so I would probably start off with the cars that are only going to cost you dollars. And one of the areas of cars that only cost you dollars is the first season in this game of Formula One cars. And I believe as well that season also. In fact, we'll just take a quick look. I know I'm sort of like going from here into another thing, but it's a good question, one that does come up quite regularly. And I think in general, I do tend to give a similar answer, which is, there we go. So that's another tier completed. So we're tier 7 completed, 46%. So let's just dip out for a second and we'll go to motorsports and we'll go into F1 and we'll go all the way. There we go, 2019 season. So all these cars in the 2019 season won't cost you any gold. They only require dollars. So it's a good place to start. All right. First off, start with the Grand Prix 2019 season, and you've got a number of events. As far as I can remember, these events aren't time specific. So you've got 5 events, and for each event, you'll pick a car, and then you'll win that car. If you win those cars, you can then compete in the Champion Series. And you'll also win, as you see there, the safety car. And then in terms of the 2019 Invitational Series, these work like exclusive series. So you can only open up those series once you've upgraded that car to 100%. But the cars themselves only cost dollars, but they do cost a lot of dollars. which is why I go back to my previous point, which is on a daily basis, make sure you are earning the maximum allowed amount of M dollars, which is 250,000. Now, obviously, you can do that in the motorsports by just racing over and over again in terms of the cups. But the other thing that you can do is you can go to the daily race, and today it's Interlagos. And what I tended to do is I used to do just the head to head, and then when I was close to getting 250,000, completed it by doing the autocross. But the key is making sure that you earn the 250,000 M dollars on a daily basis. I hope that helps. Oh, uh, so Manav underscore 20K asks, how do you get money? I'll come on to that because that's. Let me get back to racing, but I will answer that question. Sebastian Ramos says, when are we going to be able to race at Sebring? Well, that's an easy question. I'll tell you when. It will be. Let me just check this. It will be there. So in 21 days and 5 hours time, it will be when that car or this event unlocks. My understanding is that will also have Sebring in it, as far as I'm aware. So 21 days away, basically. Right, back to the racing. I'm going to answer the question to do with Adieu money because that's that's like that's such a an open-ended question that actually has lots of answers. So I need to get racing, but I will answer it while I'm racing. Right, would you believe it? There's another drag race on Tier 8. So let's do the drag race first. So obviously, in terms of money, we can break it down into M dollars, R dollars, and gold. So I think I've pretty much covered off M dollars. Um, so there is a limit per day that you can earn, but it is important to try and do that on a daily basis. And you can do that just by racing. Now the thing is, every time you do a race, you earn fame. So the importance of that is when you go up a fame level, you do indeed earn gold. So gold is key to this game. That being said, our dollars is the basics of the game. And again, you split that up into three bits. One is, again, doing regular racing. Two is playing the videos, of which you will earn a mixture of gold and R dollars. But again, it's doing it on a regular basis every day. So note, for example, in every single race that you do, you will earn R dollars. In every single race that you do, you will earn fame. Enough fame, you go up a level, you earn gold. Now, in terms of gold, what I would do is point you to a video that I put together because gold is king in this game. So I've got a video called Gold Harvesting, which I believe is the default video or the home video once you've subscribed to the channel, and it just goes through all the different ways that you can earn gold. And it's a 25-minute video, so there's lots of different ways. So that's not a full answer, but hopefully that gives you some idea of what's going on. So Aloe says, I just saw you have the NASCAR series, which I don't have despite having the latest update. My understanding on that is because I think NASCAR has some sort of licensing issue, so it might depend on the country that you are in. And I'd have to be honest, I, I'm not a big fan of NASCAR in this particular game. So it's my least favorite area of the game is NASCAR. But yeah, my understanding is there's a licensing issue, so I believe it does depend on which region you are in as to whether you get that or not. Okay, so let's. What am I doing this time? I'm trying to get a speed record. Now, I might have already messed up because this will be the fastest part of the track. There we go. Still managed to get it. There you go. Rigera Man 1 has put a answer to the NASCAR problem. Well, I thought it was a licensing issue. Apparently, it's to do with how long you've been playing the game. Honestly, I think you're better off without NASCAR, if you want my honest opinion. Okay, so that's that. Fates is asking, how can I join your clan? If the clan has space, of course. It's a good question. Honest answer, I don't know. Let's have a look. Okay, we've got to 50%, so we're almost at the 60% mark. We're 1 hour 47 minutes into the stream, so I think we're on target for just being around 2 hours. But again, only 3 gold. That's fine. Right. So before I go on further, if we go to teams and we have a look. Yeah, so unfortunately at the moment, I do have full set of people in the teams. I'll be perfectly honest, what I don't do it regularly, but every now and then, what I do is you see that I've lost my weekly time trial, but I'll go into the weekly time trial and I'll go into like the time trial competition and I take a look at the people that are racing in these competitions. So you see, look at that. Oh, that's the leaderboard. You see there's 12 of us in total out of 20. My expectation is if you join there isn't team racing anymore, but my expectation if you join the team, you've got to do the time trial competition because everyone's lent a car. So I expect to see a score, a time in the time trial competition, a time in the weekly time trial, and obviously some sort of effort in the multiplayer tournament. Now, interestingly enough, I'm at the bottom there because I lost all my scores, so I do need to redo that. But that's the expectation. So you can't actually join at the moment, but don't fret because, as I said, if people aren't setting scores, they do get booted out. But I do give people plenty of time to start making a difference. Now, obviously, the guys that play regularly always doing. But if you did want to join, so just make a note of this and going forward. If I've got a spot, I'll accept you. So go to leaderboard, do a search. My team name is 100%. Press return. There's my team, top of the list. Now, unfortunately, you can't join because you see there I've got 20 members, and unfortunately, that's the maximum. But if you did want to join and I've got less than 20 members, you can click view and then you can click the join button and that sends a message to me and then I would accept you in the team. But unfortunately, the team's full at the moment. So keep watching for that because, as I said, if there are people no longer playing, which does occur, eventually I do sort of boot them out and that obviously creates space for other people to join. It doesn't matter what PR you are. It doesn't matter what level you are. The key is that you play regularly. Right, back to the racing. So we're at 51%. So Carlos is Carlos is in the team, as is Regera Man One, and a few of the other guys that watch the channel. He's put anything takes away some who don't play, Tony. Yes, yes. So if people have stopped playing and they're not setting those times, I do eventually chuck them out. I just don't do it every week. So I'll probably revisit it every update is what I tend to do. So like every 6 weeks. Right, let's do the cup. So they're getting slightly longer, but this is a short track. So 4 laps around Melbourne. So I reckon I'll do this race and then one more tier, and that should take us very close to 6% and is a very good place to stop. uh, Very good. So Regera Man 1. Regera Man 1 says, and it's a very good point, says this game is entirely about consistency. In other words, I guess he's talking about consistency in terms of playing regularly and consistency in terms of your improvement, your racecraft, all of that good stuff. So that otherwise, I wouldn't be level 1359. So there you go. That's yes, that's very impressive. Now I have been playing a long time, and I only sit at level, I want to say, I think it's about 600 and something. So yeah. So Regera Man 1 is better than Aussie Bob. There we go. Better than Aussie Bob. I don't even know who Aussie Bob is, but apparently Aussie Bob has a fame rating of 1000. Right, okay, so final lap, and I've just taken first. Being Melbourne, a little bit messy, lots of bumps, lots of nicks, lots of smashed glass. but I have got first place. So Fate says, are you guys the co-founders of Real Racing 3? I have no affiliation whatsoever with Real Racing 3 other than the fact I enjoy playing it. And the reason why I enjoy playing it is they keep putting new cars in the game, new series, new events, so it keeps it fresh. And indeed, the best part of this update, in my humble opinion, is the fact they improved the graphics through the refresh rate change. So all the animation, all the menus now are so much more smoother, and the racing is so much better. So if you consider this game's been going for 12 years now, 12 years? It's 12 years, isn't it? 12 years. And every 6 weeks, with a few exceptions, they release a new update with new cars, new series, and new events. I think that's pretty good. So that's why I play it. Plus I like speed. Okay, so this is an interesting point. He says, Fet says, I'm still level 192 and still don't know how to brake when cornering. So I'll tell you what I did, because again, we've had conversation in the chat on a number of streams, and it does depend on how you are. Everybody's sort of different in terms of their approach. But what I did, let me just start the hunter, and I'll explain what I did. So I never went straight to having all the assists off. So if I was to try and master this game, and you might not be like me, so it might not work. But basically, when I started, obviously the default settings are that. Okay, that's not going to help you win anything. So I think the first change you should make is always take the brake assist to low. So typically what that means is it brakes you as late as possible, sometimes too late, but there's some assistance on braking. Immediately with that setting, you'll be able to almost do all the events. There's normally one or two goals within an event you can't do, but with those settings like that, you're already almost able to complete most of the events. And as I said, there'll be one or two goals that you'll have to skip on. The second thing you should master is then traction control being off. Now that'll improve your time per lap by up to a second, depending on the lap, depending on the car. Okay, so those two things usually mean you can go through any event with the relevant amount of upgrades and complete. Then the next thing, steering assist, master it again, and then finally brake assist. Now this does take the longest. Yeah, what you should be doing when you brake assist to low is remembering where the braking points are, so that then when you go to braking assist being off, you pretty much remembered where the braking assists are. Now, where the braking points are. Now, the problem is they do differ per car, but that's how I did it. So I didn't do. A lot of people just do that and learn, and if that's you, that's fine. But effectively, what I did is level 1 was that, level 2 was that, level 3 was that, level 4 was that, and that is where I am. And I effectively did one amendment per update, in other words, per 6 weeks. So that might be a way that you can improve slowly in the game. Again, you have to play it regularly. You master one area and then you turn off another area. You master that area, you turn off another area. That's how I've done it. But everybody's different. Everybody's different. Okay, so Hunter, let's see if we can catch him and get first. Final tier in this particular stream. We've just hit the 2 hour mark. Probably only gone slightly over because there's been a lot of talking tonight and it's been good. I've enjoyed it. I hope you have too. Okay, so in fifth, still plenty of the lap still to go, and I've already caught the hunted. Let's get overtaking him. This is one of those straights I always struggle where to brake. Now, I think with this car being lower, I think I can brake pretty late. So I'm going to not brake until around about here, I reckon. Yeah, there we go. Did brake a little bit late at the end, but that's fine. So we got fourth. Third, second, first. There we go. Oh, I've just lost first place, but I've got it back. There we go. So obviously Fetz was asking about the settings, so hopefully I've explained that, and I think so because he's put well explained, Tony. Thanks for the class. You're very much welcome. Right, okay, so that's Hunter completed. I do need to service the car, but it is free and instant and will be for another 22 hours. Two more races to do. So we'll do the cup first. It's 2 laps around Mount Panorama. Twenty-two cars in the race, meaning 21 to overtake. As always with this particular course, I tend to stay on the outside for the first corner, just to stay out of trouble. Because sometimes these computer opponents are crazy and they just smash into each other. And there we go, you see, already up into 7th. Made that 5th. I reckon I might even get to 1st. There we go. Almost. Well, there we go. First for the halfway stage of lap 1. Okay, there we go. 100 yards ahead of second. So Jean-Jacques Leslie, is it Chourabin? Did I get that right? I think so. They've put, my passion is this game, so I like it a lot. Very good. Welcome along. Thanks for watching, and thanks for putting a comment in the chat. It's been a very busy night in the chat today. It's good to see. So second lap, I'm well in the lead already. I'm over 150 yards ahead of second. I can only see that increasing from now. Here we go. ...350 yards ahead of second. Okay, there we go. Down the hill. Or is it a mountain? Feels like a hill. Oh, it says Mount Panorama. Right, let's not go off track this time. There we go. So that's the penultimate race completed for this evening. One more race to do, which I believe is an endurance. And then we'll call it a day there with part 2, which will hopefully involve taking this series to 100%, being tomorrow. But I'll talk more about that after I've completed the endurance. Ah. 57%, so maybe it won't be quite 60%. It'll either be 59% or 60%, but that's good enough. That's fine. We just need to get to 6 miles. Let's go. I think this is just the short track as well, so that usually makes it a little bit harder to get high mile scores. See how we get on. So Me Too has entered the chat and has put cockpit view, which I guess means he'd like to see the cockpit view. So I will show that in a bit. I'm not a fan of the cockpit view, but I will show that in a bit. This is definitely the best view for racing in Real Racing 3, in my humble opinion. I actually think, rather than if you had to do another view, I'd probably do that view. I think that view is a lot better. But there's the cockpit view. There you go. You got 10 seconds. Right, so I've got 2.5 miles. I've still got 75 seconds on the clock. I've got to get to 6 miles before the clock counts down to 0. So I think we're on our way. I think we're gonna do this. That's 3 miles. Oh, yeah, there we go. 4 miles now on the clock. I've got 2 miles to go to get to first. Yeah, that's 4th. On the edge there. There we go. 5 miles on the scoreboard. 1 more mile to go. And then that will end the racing for this evening. Now, I probably should have turned a light on, but as the it is going down, but we'll be all right for the next 5 minutes. It'll be fine. There we go. So that's third. That's second. And there we go, first. Might just stay behind this car. Count down the seconds. There we go. 7 miles on the clock. Got first. Fate says this car looks very comfortable to drive. Um, it is, and to be fair, it's probably um, just because it's an Audi. Even the older Audis were always nice inside. Right, okay, there we go. So that is the end of the racing for tonight, and we should have taken the series to either 59 or 60%. So let's see which it is. Tier 10 open, so that means I've completed tier 9. So I think there we go, 60% spot on. So tiers 1 to 9 completed, tiers 10 to 15 yet to do. And that will be what will that those tiers will be done in tomorrow's stream. So currently sitting on a score of 1,606 gold. Let's have a look at some of the rewards we've earned tonight. I don't well, it's not a great deal, is it? There we go. Yeah, not a lot. Not going to rush to get any of those. Yeah, so there we go. 60%. All right, so let's take the game off screen. If I can find the button, there we go. There we go. Right, so it is a bit dark. We'll be all right though, and I'll mute the game. Right, so tomorrow there'll be the second part of completing the limited series, taking it from 60% to 100%. The reason why I split these limited series normally into two parts is you get a full days worth of free servicing. So I like to split it into two parts. It typically works out at 2 hours worth of driving each day, especially if you do the split of 60-40%. Uh, Not all limited series give you a full day's worth of free servicing. I think it's only the limited series that um, are for cars that are already in the game and not for cars that are brand new in this release. The part two, if you're watching on YouTube, will be round about 4 p.m. here in the UK. So, in other words, 2 hours earlier than it was today. If you're watching on Rumble, then that time will be 8 p.m. here in the UK. In other words, 2 hours earlier than the start of the stream today. Um, Hopefully you've enjoyed the video. If you have, if you wouldn't mind giving it a thumbs up or a like, and if you'd like to see more of this content, then please feel free to subscribe to the YouTube channel, um, The Fifth Guardian, or if you prefer to watch on Rumble, then give the channel The Fifth Guardian a follow. Okay, so with all that being said, I hope what it is left of your day is a very good one. Thank you all for watching. Thank you very much for all the chat that we've had tonight. It's been very good. I've enjoyed it a lot. Fates has put, it was very enjoyable to watch, Tony. Well, thank you very much. That's very kind. Hope to see you back tomorrow. So, with that being said, as I said, part two will be tomorrow. I do hope to see you all then. Until then, thank you and goodbye.